After Effects tutorial. Hey guys, Rookie here with MotionBucks.com, and in this video we're going to make a cool textured background that we spray paint our logo onto. Let's go ahead and jump right into it and get started. First I'll go ahead and create a new composition, and let's just call that concrete. And background color does not matter, duration can be 10 seconds. And go ahead and click on OK. Now that we have a new composition, the first thing we want to do is create a new solid. We'll turn this solid into our concrete background. It's going to be really cool to make it look realistic. Right click, new, solid. And let's just type in the word concrete again, or a concrete texture. Go ahead and click on OK. You can make the solid white or a light gray. Doesn't matter. Let's go with white. Click OK. OK. Now with that solid highlighted, let's go ahead and go to Effects and Presets, and let's type in Fractal Noise. And double click on Fractal Noise. Now we got this cool static looking thing going on right here. Let's fit up to 100%. We can see our entire solid. Now we're going to play with this and try to make this look like a texture, a realistic texture. So let's try to make it look like concrete. So you see we can play around with fractal type here. We got something called rocky. That's not bad. I also like the way turbulent smooth turned out whenever I was working on this. But there's a lot of things to play with, and right now they don't look that cool or anything like a realistic texture. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to create an adjustment layer and put it above this solid here. And then we're going to emboss it to make this look like it's textured. So let's just start by doing that right now. Let's go ahead and go to right click, new, adjustment layer. And with the adjustment layer highlighted, let's go over here and just type in emboss. And double click on the word emboss. And now you see it's taking those blacks and whites and using those to make a textured look with ups and downs using the black and white. Pretty cool. We can actually turn up the relief, and you see that becomes a little more textured looking. That already right there looks pretty cool. Let's go back to our concrete texture here, and let's mess with these now that we're looking at it like this. Let's go to rocky. Okay, we see how that looks. That kind of looks like concrete. It looks kind of rocky. Let's play with some more settings. Let's go to transform, and let's see scale right here. Let's drop that down. Let's make that fractal noise smaller. Okay, so if we zoom that out, that looks more detailed. See what I'm saying? That looks pretty neat. Maybe that's a little too much. Let's just try 50. Type in 50 right there. Not bad. Great. Now that we've done that, let's go to our sub settings right here. We got sub influence and sub scaling. Let's turn up this sub influence. See that? All right, let's keep going. That's pretty cool right there. We can also go to our evolution. I'm gonna turn this up to full so I can really see what I'm looking at. Okay, yeah, that looks really good. That looks pretty realistic. We can go to our evolution here and just cycle through different versions of it. All looks pretty much the same whenever you have this much going on. And we can also, now that we got it like this, we can go back to here. Rocky, would you like smooth better? That looks kind of funky. Rocky, and also what we can do is we can rotate it. So let's say I did go with smooth. Everything looks kind of boxy. What you can do is you go right here to rotation, and if you rotate it, now you can't really see that angular look. That looks pretty cool like that. I'm gonna keep it at rocky. Okay, and now what I'm gonna do, let's turn our scale up just a little bit more. Like that. Okay, now let's go back to our adjustment layer and emboss. See that relief? It's a little too much. I'm going to bring that back down. What was it looking like at 1? Not enough. 2? That looks pretty good. You can play with the contrast if you would like. Sometimes that makes it a little too much if you ask me. I'm going to go ahead and just leave that at 100. Nice solid number. Let me go back to concrete texture. I am going to turn that scale up. Let's just go back to 100. Because it seems like there's a little too much going on. Okay, I like that. That's a cool concrete looking background. We're going to put some cracks in it to make it look even more like some concrete. Next, go ahead and go back to the video that you're currently watching right now. Go ahead and click on the like button. And then you want to click on the subscribe button. Now once you've done that, scroll down and go ahead and add a cool comment. This is the coolest video I have ever seen in my entire life of living on this planet we call Earth. Something like that. Go ahead and click on comment. So let's put some cracks in this concrete. Make it look even more realistic. Now how can we do that? Here's a cool trick. Let's go ahead and right click, new, solid. And let's name this cracks, or maybe just crack 01. Because we're gonna do more than one crack. Color, let's make it black for now. Okay, okay. Now with that highlighted, let's go over here and type in advanced lightning. There we go. Go ahead and double click on that. And now we got some lightning right there. What are we going to do with that? What's the point of that? Well, first, let's go ahead and mess with these settings. Let's go to glow settings. We're not going to make it glow at all. Glow opacity 0. Okay. Almost looks like a crack like that. Lightning type, let's go to breaking. Okay. Core settings. This is where we can tell how thick this crack is. See, if I turn this up, it's thicker. Let's go ahead and make it 5. What does that do? That's not bad. Okay. Now let's go to our core color and let's make that black. We're just testing this right now. Okay, not bad. That's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and test this out. Check it out. Let's take that crack. Let's take crack and put it under adjustment layer. Okay, and everything under this adjustment layer is getting embossed. That is why we did the adjustment layer rather than going straight to concrete and embossing it. Anything under this will be embossed. So let's bring a crack under that. You see? Now that's kind of 3D looking. Looks like it's part of this concrete. Let's make it look better. Let's go to our adjustment layer. And if we change this direction, that's like the light direction. So right now, with this shadow being right here, it almost looks like this is kind of a bump sticking up. Let's move that light direction over here. And now look, it kind of inverted it. Now it looks like this is actually a crack that's in the ground. Let's play with this lightning to make it look cooler. So let's go back to our crack layer. Let's turn up our forking so this thing breaks off more. Leave the decay. Let's go to our expert settings right here. Complexity. See, there's too much going on right there. Let's make that less. What about 3? Cut that in half. Oh, that might be a little too not complex. Let's turn up the fork distance so when it does fork, they stick out. Maybe make that complexity 4. Let's make the fork strength maybe 5. Okay, let's make the fork strength 100. Makes it thicker. Let's make the variation 100. All right, with that like that, it's still too complex. Let's go back to 3. And it looks like one line here, but let's just go through this conductivity state right here. And that's the light. See, that's the lightning moving around. And wait till you get one like this. See, like that? So it's just got one little split off. Now remember, you can always just move this lightning until you get a nice variation that you like. So that's kind of cool right there. Crack going across. It splits right there. Click on origin here. That way I can see those again. Okay. Oh, that was a pretty good one. Like that. I like stuff like that. That looks like a crack going through it. It split it off a little bit. Doesn't need to be perfect. We're going to have a few of them, and it'll just look random and cool. So for that, let's just go ahead and take crack 01, press Control D, and we have another one. If you want to, you can rename that crack 02. There we go. And with this one, let's just move it around. Okay, you can just go through the conductivity state if you want, so you can see it separately. And let's just put it in a different spot. Bring it over here. Oh, now we got some cracks going through our concrete. And let's duplicate that again. Crack 03. Mess with that conductivity. And let's move this somewhere, right? Let's put one going across. Let's have it go across this crack, but be up in this corner here. Something like that. So play around with that until you get a cool, realistic look. Let's add one more, and then I'm going to show you another trick we're going to do. So let's duplicate this one more time. Control D. And let's move that conductivity state so we can see this one separate from the other one. And with that like that, let's move one over here for this corner. And we got some cracks going right through here. Pretty cool stuff. And there's some cracky concrete. Now, let's do something to make these stand out because these look like little indentations. Let's take one of these cracks, like for instance, this one going down here. This was crack number 1. Take crack number 1. Let's just duplicate that and put it above the adjustment layer. Nice. So now that crack is a little darker. Let's go to the core settings and let's make this smaller. So let's say I made this a 3. See, now you got the dark, smaller crack going through here, and you can still see the indentation of the one we made underneath. So it looks kind of realistic. If you want to go back to crack 01, make this core radius even a bit bigger. What if I did 7? So see, now you got the dark crack going through this thicker indentation of a crack. Pretty cool stuff right there. Go back to this one and let's make that a 4. Nice and dark. You can see it. Which one should we do next? Maybe this one? Which one was that? Number 3. Let's duplicate number 3 and bring it up on top. And now that's blacked out. And let's make it thinner. Just like that. Pretty cool stuff right there. And just for fun, I'm going to add one more of these cracks and just really make it kind of wild under the adjustment layer. Something like that. And let's actually have one split off a little bit more. If I turn up the forking. Too much. 90. There you go. So that's pretty split up. That's cool. So I have this one that splits up a lot. It's going somewhere through the whole thing. Something like that. And that's pretty neat. Awesome. So we got our concrete texture that actually looks pretty realistic. And all we did was use the effects here we have on After Effects. So let's go ahead and spray paint our logo onto this really cool background. For that, I'm going to go ahead and make this easier on us. Let's pre-compose this entire thing. Right click, pre-compose. And we can just call it concrete composition, concrete comp. So let's make this spray paint effect. Let's go to right click, new, solid. We'll call this paint. Let's go ahead and make it green. I think I like the green. Click on OK. OK. So if we want to paint this, okay, we're going to brush it ourselves. So if you go to this brush tool here, it won't work. Watch when I try to brush. Look, okay, it doesn't work. You have to double click the layer to open it in the layer panel. All right, cool. So with paint, we got the brush here. Just double click on paint. Now we are actually in layer paint. So now I can go like this. You see I'm drawing. Pretty neat. Okay, let me undo that. And let's go over here to our paint panel. Move that up so I can see it better. All right, so first off, we definitely want it bigger than that. So let's go to our size here, and let's make it 100. I like that. Okay, so we'll keep it 100. Roundness, 100%. Hardness, 0. Okay, I kind of do want it to be blurry looking like that, to look more like paint. Nice, so now that we have the brush size that we want, let's go right here to paint. Now here's our paint panel, and we can do some cool stuff with this. Let's go to duration. Let's put right on. Okay, let's make sure this is in the beginning of the timeline. So now when we scribble, when we paint, it's going to record this as keyframes and it will animate our brush strokes. So let's try to keep this right in the middle because our logo is going to be about this big in the middle right here. And let's just go ahead and go for it. That wasn't very good. But if you look, now that I go through the timeline, it's doing it for me. Hit Control Z, undo that whole thing. And let's try it again. Let me try to make this a little more natural of a flow. How's that? I like that. It looks pretty random. All right, let's keep it like that. Cool. Now that we've done that, let's go to our paint here. Drop it down. Go to Effects. Go to Paint. Paint on Transparent on. Okay, so we got rid of that green background. So now we go to close out of this layer paint. Close out of that. Now look, on our concrete, that's what we got going on. Pretty cool. All right, that's pretty cool. We're painting onto our concrete. Only thing is this looks extremely flat, red. It doesn't look realistic at all. So let's do something. Check this out. With paint highlighted, let's go over here and type in texturize. And double click on that. So now what we're going to do is here for texture layer, we're going to choose the concrete composition that we created. So for texture right here, go ahead and click on concrete comp. And it uses that composition to put a texture onto this red solid right here, this paint. So that's pretty cool. Now watch when I turn up the texture contrast. That actually looks pretty realistic. It looks like it's painting onto that concrete. How sick is that? But I don't like how solid this red is right here. And we're going to change the color anyway. But to make some variation in this paint, just to add some variation to this color, let's use our fractal noise again. So now we have these dark areas and lighter areas. Let's put that on top of texturize. So now we're texturizing this fractal noise and that paint. So now you can still see the texture of our concrete and you have these variations in color with this dark and this light. So that'll look even more realistic once we colorize this thing. So how are we going to do that? Let's type in something called colorama. I'm going to close these right now, collapse them. And with this still highlighted, let's go over here and just type in colorama. And double click on that. And whoa, that's pretty crazy. Let's go to our output cycle. Okay, this is where we choose the colors. And they got different presets. And let's say we do ramp green. There we go. So it's green, but there's also variations in the color because we did the fractal noise. And if those darks are too dark, we can go to our fractal noise here. And let's turn the opacity down a little bit. Let's make it 50%. How's that look? Okay, so now it's not so sharp and so obvious. I'll leave it like that for now. So it's a little sharp around the edges. To do that, we're going to blur it, but we only want to blur the outside. So in order to do that, let's duplicate this paint layer. So let's just click on paint, press Control D. These are the same. Let's go to the paint that's underneath. So now let's blur this paint that's under the other paint. Let's go to Effects and Presets. Let's type in Gaussian Blur. G-A-U-S-S, there it is. Double click on that. And let's just turn this blurriness up. What's 100 look like? Okay, so now you got a little bit of blurriness around the edge. That's pretty cool. That makes it look a little more realistic. I like that. Let's go to paint on top. I do feel like this is too textured. So on texturize, we have texture contrast right here. Let's make it 1. Press enter. And there you go. It's a little softer looking. It looks like it's getting painted on, but we don't want it looking too rough. I think that's good. I think that's our sweet spot. Let's bring in that logo and we're done. So let me close out of this and I'm gonna double click right here and bring in my own logo that I found. I found this random generic logo online that I'll just use as an example. Let's go ahead and bring that down on top of everything. All right, it's about the size we want it. Before we do anything else, let's right click on this, pre-compose it, and let's name this logo goes here. And then move all attributes into new composition. Click on OK. And now somebody else wants to use your template that you're creating. They bring their logo in here. Put any logo there, it'll automatically update in our animation. Let me go ahead and double click on that. And in this instance, I'm going to get rid of the white background because I don't want that here. So here's a way to do that. With this highlighted, I'm going to go ahead and type in the word extract. And double click on extract. And I'll just take out the whites. So let's do that. There we go. Just had to move these colors around a little bit. All you can see is the black. Pretty cool. Bring it back, and there we have it like that. We're almost done right there. That's pretty neat. But the point of this was to make it look like we're spray painting this onto it. So let's make our logo only appear where this paint is. So in order to do this, I'm going to take my logo and put it under this paint layer. And for our track matte, make sure you hit toggle switches and modes. For our track, let's put that to alpha paint. So now it's using the shape of this paint to only let my logo be where that's at. Unfortunately, now we can only see our blurry one underneath. So let's easily fix that. Let's go ahead and duplicate this paint one, the textured one, and bring that under my logo. And make sure we can see it. And there we have it. Our logo is being painted in to the view. And that looks pretty cool. We got one more step to do that I almost forgot about. Let's go to our logo right here. And let's make it also texturized, just like the concrete. Remember how to do that? Let's go ahead and type in texturize. And double click on that. And let's make our texture layer concrete comp. And now this logo is texturized. Pretty cool. You can turn the texture down a little bit if it's too strong to you. Make it 0.5. And there it is. Pretty neat stuff. That's a really cool logo reveal made pretty easily. It looks pretty realistic. Great job. Keep up the hard work. I'll see you in the next video. This has been Ricky from motionbucks.com. Now, if you would like to learn how to make money creating these animations, then just check out my website, motionbucks.com. Not only will I show you how to make more animations like we just did, but I'll also teach you how to sell these templates online. You can actually start getting paid for your motion graphics skills. I've got hours upon hours of tutorials ranging from complete beginners to advanced. You can start today for free. That's motionbucks.com. That's right, there's no referral link, no coupon code. Just go to motionbucks.com or click the link in the description and start today for free. I'll see you there.